Monday, January 19th, 2026. Justine orders Dante to build a case against Michael. Alexis and Suzanne discuss Willow's guilt, and Drew forces Nina to leave Willow's party. Read the last GH recap. Willow was found not guilty, and Pascal tortured Anna. At the courthouse, Willow is found not guilty by the jury. Willow hugs Alexis, who doesn't look pleased. Kai and Trina can't believe Willow got away with it. Nina hugs her daughter and Drew smiles. Willow thanks everyone, especially Alexis, for getting her exonerated. Drew thanks her too. She reminds him to keep up his end of their deal and walks off. Drew is eager to celebrate, and Nina declares they can all celebrate together. Justine complains to Dante. She wants the head of whoever made their evidence disappear. Drew and Willow come over and he says there are no hard feelings. He adds he'll be in touch to press charges against Michael. Nina thanks Chase for all he did. He says he only did what he had to. As she walks off, Justine and Dante walk over and she tells the cop he could end up in prison for his interference. Chase defends himself and points out the jury even agreed with his claim that Willow is innocent. He only wanted the right culprit brought to justice because she wasn't doing her job. Justine orders Dante to build a case against Michael. Dante knows he's the leading suspect, but not the only one. The ADA points out they will get slammed if they don't go after him. Sunny stops by Diane's office to see her and maybe get some carrot cake. Suzanne tells him that everyone is out. The jury came in with a verdict. He hopes Willow is acquitted for everyone's sake. That's a surprise to her. He's sure the DA office doesn't have enough to go after Michael. Alexis texts Suzanne to say Willow was acquitted. Alexis goes to her office and throws things until Suzanne interrupts. She guesses that Willow is really guilty. She noticed her slip in her summation and she could read between the lines. Alexis admits it made her sick that she had to be quiet. The lawyer tells Suzanne that someone came to her with evidence that Willow was guilty. She had to look after her client. Suzanne says she was just doing her job and urges her to focus on Scout. Alexis can't blame Willow for shooting Drew. Trina and Kai go to the cafe. They know Willow can't be tried again. Trina can understand why Willow would shoot Drew. They committed a crime too, so who are they to judge? He thinks she's being compassionate. She points out Willow is stuck with Drew and that's punishment enough. Kai admits it is tempting to believe that. He's looking forward to resigning so he can get away from Drew. But if Michael gets arrested, they can't stay silent. He says he will go to the police on his own. They debate which of them is more guilty, but he insists she let him do this. He won't let her throw her life away. The one good thing that came out of this mess was that it brought them back together. They kiss. She won't let him sacrifice himself for her. If it comes to it, they will go to the police together. Drew and Willow go home and he assures her he will make good on his promise to get her children back. Scout rushes in and they tell her the good news. Willow tells her she'll get to spend a lot more time with Alexis now. Nina shows up with champagne and Drew asks his wife to fix a snack for Scout for while he has a word with her mom. As soon as they are alone, Drew informs Nina she won't be spending any more time with her daughter. He threatens to tell her daughter she was trying to drive a wedge between them. Drew tells her she needs to leave. She won't ruin her daughter's celebration, but she'll be back. She exits. Chase shows up with flowers. Drew offers to give them to Willow. She comes out and thanks him for them. Drew explains Nina already left, so they should celebrate another time. Willow thanks Chase for believing in her. He says he only stood up for what's right. Once the cop leaves, Willow tells her husband she's relived to have some quiet and asks him to hold her. As he does, her eyes dart around. They let the nanny take Scout off to see Alexis and then toast to their future. As he starts talking about a vacation, she shoves a hypodermic in his neck and knocks him out. Everything is going to work out, Drew. You'll see, she says. Scout goes to Alexis's office to visit her. Michael goes home, has a drink, and scowls out the window. Sunny shows up and his son complains it's only a matter of time until the cops are knocking at his door. His father doesn't care if he shot Drew or not. He will make sure he doesn't go down for it. Michael worries about what this could mean for custody. He can't let his kids live under the same roof as Drew. His father urges him not to think about that. He promises that Turner won't go after him. Once Sonny is gone, Chase arrives and tells Michael he hopes they can put this behind them. Michael makes it clear that's not going to happen. Sonny goes to the courthouse and offers to do Justine a favor. In captivity, Anna freaks out as she hears Faison's voice over the intercom. She says he's dead, and he says not even death could part them. He says they have been reunited and will never be apart again. She's sure this can't be real. He points out that both of his children came back from the dead. He could have the same miracle. Throwing his cigar in the trash, she says he's dead and his brain is in a jar. He denies it, so she demands he show himself. Once he's fully healed, she'll be able to see him again. She demands to know when they will be reunited. He says arrangements are being arranged for them to spend the rest of their lives together in their new home. General Hospital spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23rd indicate that Nathan West's role in WSB director Ross Cullum's project might be exposed, so it's time to talk about it. This week's General Hospital promo offers some interesting insight. The preview video opens with Anna Devane in her prison cell at Windermere as the woman lets out a yelp of, "No!" The next clip shows Emma Scorpio Drake talking to Nathan at the police station as the young lady states, "I'm starting to think that my grandma's in trouble." This may not seem like something pivotal to the untrained eye. However, for avid fans of the ABC soap opera, some eyebrows were raised. Emma has already approached WSB's Jack Brennan for help locating her grandmother, so why would she be talking to Nathan about it? She may have headed to the station to talk to Anna's friend, new police chief and confidant, Dante Falconeri, and caught up with Nathan instead. But there are rarely chance scenes like this between characters without some storyline progression. Plus, to place it in the General Hospital preview seems like something big will happen after this chat. Nathan shockingly reappeared in Port Charles in September of last year after everyone believed he had passed away 7 years ago. Nathan was shot by his father, Cesar Faison, and was buried. So many were stunned and couldn't believe their eyes when it turned out he was alive. He came back to life off the cusp of his sister, Britt Westbourne's, also Caesar's offspring, returned to the land of the living as well. To boot, Nathan has zero memory about where he's been or what he's been up to since he got shot and passed away, or so he claims. General Hospital fans believe that something isn't right with Nathan. While he seems like the same old good-natured cop, GH viewers can't help but feel as if things aren't what they seem. First off, Britt's reaction to her brother being alive and well was not that of a sister who should have been relieved to learn Nathan was okay. In fact, for a while there, she almost seemed terrified of Nathan and tried desperately to keep him away from the son he had never met, James West. In addition, Nathan has been quite rusty where his police duties are concerned. Dante recently called him out on mishandling evidence, and Nathan was able to convince his boss and friend that he needed to get back into the routine of things. Dante did brush it off, and with Harrison Chase suspended and Anna MIA, he needed the manpower on the force, so Dante let it go. Above all, General Hospital fans can't help but feel something sketchy about Nathan. As mentioned, Nathan has no clue about where he's been these past few years, so why would he jump back into work versus trying to find out what happened to him? Some could say that money is an issue, but his rich sister, cousin, Nina Reeves, would happily support him until he got to the bottom of his truth. As such, Nathan, having a scene with Emma this week talking about Anna's disappearance, seems key. Director Cullum was exposed as the infamous C and partnered to Jen Sidwell during the Wednesday, January 14th episode last week. After months of this question lingering for one reason or another, Brennan's boss is the one helping to execute Caesar's final project. Cullum seems to have a soft spot for Britt, so whether the WSB director is somehow related to Caesar, thus being related to the good doctor and Nathan, remains to be seen. But it's hard not for fans to think that Nathan's role in Cullum and Sidwell's project will soon be revealed. Will he take the information he learns from Emma and rush to Cullum to fill him in? Will fans finally learn exactly what Nathan is hiding? Is Nathan really Nathan? Could he be simply brainwashed or had his brain altered? After all, Cullum's team quickly had Anna undergo a lobotomy during her captivity, so maybe the same thing happened to Nathan? General Hospital spoilers note that there is something off with Nathan, so will viewers finally get some questions answered about the cop and his true intentions during the week of January 19th to 23rd? Now that General Hospital's Willow has been set free, she's about to resume her life as a congressman's wife with a singular goal: getting her children back. She shot Drew and then married him to make sure she didn't go to jail. She managed to get acquitted and will now stay married to him with a whole new agenda in mind. But what happens if Drew realizes the truth? When Nina tried to convince Willow that she could leave Drew if the jury came back with a not guilty verdict, Willow told her that it wouldn't be so easy. She was not quite done with Drew yet. That could have meant any number of things. Does she think he can help her get her children back after that unhinged display in court? Or does she want to still make him pay for destroying her life? Playing mind games with him might be her best revenge. It's quite clear that Willow can't stand Drew, as evidenced by her trying to kill him, as well as all those little smirks and eye rolls we have seen over the past week or so. A new Willow has been born, and this one is cold and calculating. She clearly has a long game planned, but Drew might beat her at her own game. After the first bullet hit Drew and he fell to the floor, he seemed to look up and recognize his assailant, but then the second bullet struck and he was out like a light. Months later, when practicing testimony at Alexis's house, Drew seemed to remember something, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Drew shrugged things off then, but something else might trigger his memory, so to speak. Could it be the sound of a cork popping, as implied on this week's latest General Hospital promo? What if that night all comes flooding back and Drew realizes Willow is the one who shot him after all? He might try to beat her at her own game, setting Willow up for a fall while she sets him up for the same. The gruesome twosome at war could be everything we needed after the last year of watching them fawn all over one another. Both Drew and Willow have become awful people, so watching them turn into each other's worst enemies would be quite satisfying indeed. The General Hospital spoilers video preview shows Emma worrying about her grandmother. And in the wake of Willow's not guilty verdict, Michael and Chase come to blows while Willow and Drew celebrate their win. Anna has been held captive for months. Emma misses her grandmother, and she decides to get some help. "I'm starting to think that my grandma's in trouble," she tells Nathan. So far, Nathan has adapted to being back in the land of the living. He has resumed his police job and has worked admirably on the Drew shooting case. At the same time, nobody knows what happened to him during his presumed dead years. Is Nathan the right person for Emma to turn to regarding Anna's disappearance? While Emma's worried and scared, Nina, Drew, Willow, and Scout are in a much better mood. Who's ready to celebrate? Nina inquires when she shows up at Drew's carrying a bottle of champagne. Little does Nina know that her daughter is anything but innocent. "I'm going to make sure you don't go down for this," Sonny tells Michael. What will protecting his son have to do with his so-called friend, ADA Turner? After all, she has to be licking her wounds after losing to Alexis in court. Will whatever Sonny does have anything to do with the cryptic offer Sonny makes this week? The promo takes an even more dramatic turn by stating, "When justice fails, violence prevails." It looks like Drew is down for the count, and Michael and Chase come to blows. Will there be any consequences to this violence? Speaking of violence, Willow shot Drew. They may toast their future, but how long before this news spreads and they feel the consequences of their actions? General Hospital spoilers are in for the week of January 19th, 2026. Fans can expect Emma Scorpio Drake and Nathan West to connect. Willow Tate Kane's verdict will cause a lot of drama around town. Plus, Nina Reeves advises Kai Taylor, "Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the ABC soap opera." Let's start off with Emma. Fans know that the girl hasn't heard from Anna Devane for a while. The girl went to Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan for help. Later, Emma will turn to Nathan. It sounds like the girl might ask the detective if he can look into Anna's disappearance. Maybe the girl just gets a weird feeling or recalls an important detail. Now that Willow has been ruled not guilty by the court, everyone will react to the curveball. Some people were pretty certain Willow would go to prison. Now that she's a free woman, Willow will want to talk about getting back her children. However, someone else will be the target of the police's investigation. That leads to Sunny making a promise, then offering a cryptic proposition. Elsewhere, Alexis Davis will hold Drew Kane to the terms of their deal. General Hospital spoilers for next week reveal that Harrison Chase ends up facing Michael. The two will have a lot of tension considering the situation with Willow. Chase's career problems aren't over yet either. In fact, a preview clip shows Chase having to face a stern warning from Justine Turner. As for what else to expect, Lucas Jones and Elizabeth Liz Baldwin are forced to rush into action at the hospital. However, a bit later, Lucas has to tell someone bad news. It sounds like the patient doesn't make it, but who is it and what is the cause of death? Trina Robinson confides in Ava Jerome. However, expects Sunny to manipulate Ava later in the week. Jason Morgan gets an intriguing offer from Tracy Quartermain. As for Nina, she ends up sharing scenes with Kai. The blonde will share some words of wisdom with the young man. Britt Westbourne is cornered. Elsewhere, Jocelyn Jacks gets help from an unlikely source. It is also stated that Jordan Ashford makes an introduction. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of January 19th, 2026? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on ABC to find out what happens next. General Hospital spoilers leak Dr. Portia Robinson is holding out hope that she'll be able to mend the rift between herself and her daughter, Trina Robinson. But Trina may have bigger problems on her mind right now than making her mom feel better about breaking her heart and trust. Portia's past is decorated with lies, and that makes it sting that much more that she withheld the truth about her family's future and the baby she is carrying from the people she claims to love the most. If there is any way for Portia to pull out all the stops to get Trina to give her another chance sooner than later, I think it may hinge on this baby she is carrying being Trina's full sibling. Given that Portia can't really control for that at this juncture, will she seek to anyway? Trina has been camped out in Curtis Ashford's corner ever since she learned of her mother's betrayal in real time, side by side with her dad sitting in a courtroom for all of the public to take in at the same time. In disbelief that she would jump into bed with another man, Dr. Isaiah Gannon, within moments of ending her marriage to Curtis, Trina couldn't believe that Portia had been lying once again. She thought things were different now and that her mom had learned her lesson about keeping secrets. So it will be hard for her to believe anything that comes out of her mother's mouth anytime soon. Just how is Portia going to convince Curtis to keep waiting on this paternity test? She was more than ready to find out who the father was. For weeks, she couldn't wait to exit purgatory and get on with her life in whatever direction it was going in. But now that the road back to her family has been destroyed, she's probably wondering if the baby being Curtis's would soften him toward her, and thereby soften Trina's heart too. On the other hand, if the baby is Isaiah's, it's likely that'll push both Curtis and Trina further out of her life, which is the last thing she wants. Will Portia find a way to doctor this paternity test to ensure Curtis comes out as the father even if he isn't? Portia is a complicated woman, and I can think of a few other complicated people in Port Charles who might do her this favor in exchange for something else. The first person she calls on might be Ava Jerome, who has been a bit of a confidant for Portia. However, she did get messy when it came to forcing Portia and Nina Reeves to confront each other. But Ava might have the means to help her doctor a paternity test. On the flip side, someone who is still in the business could have even more power. That's why I could see Portia taking a page out of Curtis's playbook and calling Selena Wu. That would make for interesting payback later. Last but not least, might Portia offer Brad Cooper his job back? Once she's off of suspension herself, if he agrees to fudge the results in the lab for her? There's just one catch. How will Portia ensure Curtis doesn't have an independent test run since he can't trust her? Keep checking back with us every day for more GH news and spoilers as this storyline is still warming up. General Hospital spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23rd indicate that Michael Corinthos and Harrison Chase will have a physical altercation, which will likely be over Willow Tate Kane's not guilty verdict. It wasn't overly shocking during the Friday, January 16th episode when the jury in Willow's trial came back with the not guilty decision. Of course, General Hospital fans recently learned that Willow was indeed the culprit who laid 2 gunshots into Drew Cain's back, a mystery that had been hanging over viewers' heads for a while now. As Willow can't be tried twice for the same crime, due to the double jeopardy legal ruling, it's clear that the drama will continue to unfold in Port Charles as this storyline takes an interesting turn. The ABC soap recently released its promo for the week of January 19th, 23rd, and there are plenty of interesting moments GH fans can look forward to. One such highlight was a clip of Michael and Chase fighting. In fact, in the video, Michael flips Chase over onto a table somewhere in the Quartermain mansion. Michael then proceeds to punch Chase, so the two will have a very heated encounter at some point during the week of January 19th. It also doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what exactly they'll be arguing about. Chase literally placed his police career on the line to help defend Willow's innocence. He'll feel like a fool once he realizes that Willow did shoot Drew. But that's an entirely different topic than the one that is at hand. Not only did Chase attempt to gather evidence to prove his ex-wife's innocence, but he also worked hard to gather information that Michael was not only guilty of Drew's shooting, but also tried to frame Willow for Drew's shooting. Chase is way off base here, and as Michael will be upset enough over the fact that his wife got away with attempted murder, all eyes are now in his direction for Drew's shooting. Losing this case is a major blow to Acting District Attorney Justine Turner's career, and she'll be foaming at the mouth to score a win with the next suspect. All the evidence now points to Michael, so it'll be a wrong place/wrong time situation for Chase if he confronts Michael in their home, the Q Mansion, and starts spewing vicious accusations Michael's way. Chase really should read the room before he confronts Michael, but he won't. Chase will likely gloat about how Michael tried to frame Willow but failed miserably. A shouting match will ensue next, but what will push Michael over the edge enough to act violently? All Chase needs to do is boast about how Michael stands to not only lose full custody, but also visitation rights to Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos, and all bets will be off. Plus, considering what happened to Michael the last time he landed in Pentonville, he'll be on pins and needles at the thought of going back to prison. Still, Chase mentioning the kids will trigger Michael's dark side, and it looks like things are about to get very ugly between the once best friends. General Hospital spoilers note that Michael is fiercely protective of his children, and he knows now there's a good chance that Wiley and Amelia will not only be exposed to Willow's lunacy, but Drew's as well, an influence he was desperate to keep too. Of point 5.